All right, man. Detroit Lions, they move up with the Jets and they draft an edge. So, they got a tackle, they got an edge now. They got the Go Blue defensive line, Derrick Moore. I know about the other kid, he projected to go around 3 or 4, who came from Maryland. I think he got a lot of upside, who was the linebacker who switched to defensive end. But yeah, Lions trade up, pick up Derrick Moore from Michigan. Their defense has been stout and outstanding. One thing about the Michigan defense is strong. So a lot of times when you go out there, you get somebody off that Michigan defense, they're gonna be strong. Brad Holmes loves strong ends opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, they got him, man. They gave up pick 50 and pick 128. So pick 128. So they gave up a second rounder. Let me see. And they gave a third rounder. So they had 2 in the third. No, I'm at fourth rounder. They had 2 in the fourth because they got pick 118, number 18 pick in the fourth as well. So Detroit Lions opt to move up in the second round in 2026 NFL draft to draft Michigan defensive end Derrick Moore, right? The Lions trade up 6 spots, cost them a second and a fourth. Here's are the trade terms. We've seen it. Moore fills the Lions' big need at defensive end. Their current room only includes Aiden Hudson, DJ Wonnum, Peyton Turner, injury prone Ahmad Hassan, who got injured. Now Moore would compete with Wonnum for playing time versus opposite of Aiden Hutch. Don't be surprised if they don't draft another defensive end too. The other kid from Michigan, man, I forget his name. I'm about to get it to you right now. Don't be surprised if they don't take him too, because he's similar to Derrick Barnes, a guy that stood up, who they probably still could coach to stand up and drop. I think that kid might end up going to a 3-4 team. But I like his versatility. You know what I'm saying? They were like, well, he don't really have the instincts to drop in coverage. And I mean, you can train a lot of that stuff. The NFL coaching, you can get that done. So you can get that done. But I think he might be projected to go next round. I'm trying to pull it up now. Strong. I think he was a second, or he was amongst the Big Ten leaders in sacks. Strong kid coming off the edge. That cornerback from Tennessee, he's still available, FYI, as I'm shooting this video. So the knee might not be as well as people think it is. Let me see if we can find this kid. But I just do projections or positions. There you go. Jayshon Barham. So he might end up getting all double dipping, there. But Moore was a 2-year starter at Michigan, posting 4 in 10 sacks in his last 2 seasons, respectively. A team captain in 2025. Moore fits Detroit's preferred size, 6'4" and an 81 1/4 wingspan. He was one of the most productive pass rushers in the Big Ten, posting 17.5 pressure rate per Dan draft preview. So the thing about it was the other guys that went in front of him. Let's get back. Or that he went in front of. One of them was T.J. Parker. I just seen him get picked up. So let's go over here. I don't think he ran at the combine either. I could be wrong about that. So you had Zion Young, who went right behind him. He was 6'6", 262. SEC. He had 10 sacks. So I don't know what as far as size, they preferably was about the same size. This kid was a little bit bigger, but he was ranked 5 in position. He was 10th in position, Derrick Moore, 29 overall. So it seemed, according to them, this kid was Zion Young, and this don't mean nothing, was better than Derrick Moore. So it seemed like Michigan went up for a reach, according to them. He said, post-draft, the Lions badly needed a better passer, Aiden Hutchinson. He had a 17.5% pass pressure rate. That's 10 best amongst qualifying players in FBS. Moore should have a chance to mix or even start ahead of DJ Warner, but the Lions really need to trade up to take Moore. They had Moore drafted at number 71. So they said they pretty much reached. Now, this guy, it was drafted, Zion Young, was by the Baltimore Ravens. We know they don't get it wrong. I compare him to George Kavalauskas. He says that's becoming an annual to the young is a fit. He's a mode of former strong side defensive end who can also stand up if need to, but his strength is his ability to stack up against the run while also pressuring. So, I don't know. And then you had what else you have with? So those was the two that was in the mix right there. And then you got this Gabe Jockus guy. Remember, one of the guys I think I was listening to this morning was saying this is who they wanted Michigan to get. Detroit to get. He would had a better grade than old buddy did too. He was compared to Brian Rabko. He went to Texas. I think he went to Cleveland. So the Patriots got him. So former high school wrestling champ. And right now, I think TJ Parker just went. Or maybe he best on the board, so he didn't win yet. So I felt like the Lions didn't even have to trade up to get this guy, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's all about scheme fit, how they see him. They liked him enough to go up there and get him. He screamed off that edge. He screams off that edge, man. And one thing about Michigan, one thing about Michigan guys, they strong and they're gonna be well coached defensively. You know it. So also his personality is, attitude. Let me see. But and it's fit. That's who they seem to be fit. So like I said, I don't think he. Let me see. So his athleticism score wasn't through the roof. Hold on. So 6'3" from Maryland, Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. But one more spot, he would have went to Baltimore if they wanted him. 6'3", 255. 78 overall, 7th. Athleticism. I don't see here. How you really measure athleticism? I guess they do an eye test. It said an edge prospect with good size and length. Moore is far more active and engaged as a rusher than he is as a run defender. He has the ability to set a firm edge, but his approach against the run can lack urgency against the pass. Moore is a bull rush aficionado, piling up pressures and sacks. He's strong through the top of his rush, but needs to improve and consistently stress long, well-anchored tackles. When it's time to finish, he tackles with reliable technique and timing. If Moore cranks up the fire on all 3 downs, he can become a good full-time player. Either way, he projects as a starter capable of racking up pressures. His strength, good size, length as a pass rusher, leverage, and, hand striking, leg drive, propel with his bull rush, downhill momentum. It's hard to stop once he starts. Get into the top of his rush with good forward lean, swallows quarterbacks, swallowed runners like a crashing wave once he's close. Above average football IQ and awareness to play designs, capable of holding his ground at the point of attack, meaning he's strong in plays with smooth connection between hands and feet. Weaknesses, occasionally lacks energy and urgency as a run defender. That's going to change here. It better. Rides on blocks instead of working quickly off of them. Average quickness to stack. Shed and pursues the sidelines. Below average first step quickness, upfield rush, limited head counter, causing rush to sputter if he fails to gain the early advantage. Lacks knee bend and upper body swivel, working on the turn. Sources tell us I like that he knows what he does well as a rusher and capitalize on the AFC National Scout. So we see how the pick turns out. I like the pick. Obviously, he went to Michigan. You got the Michigan boys at, bookends for Michigan. So for the Detroit Lions. So it's going to be interesting. But damn, one more pick. He could have went back home to Baltimore. I know, but they probably like they pick Zion Young. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Like I said, you can find me everywhere. The links in the description. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.